So it's painted. You can see a little bit of lines here, but then you can also see it's not really flower, but like a fishnet stocking style of like a net. So the background is dark color. That's what you see here. And then she's going to connect, all this yellow as if these are nets, as if you are weaving the net. She's going to connect all of this. What is important for us is this painting is following the tradition of Kano school. Remember the Kano school of painter? She had some psychiatric problems, like she suffered hallucination, and she's a sort of a bipolar disorder person. So she didn't go to school. So instead, her parents went her to Kano school as an apprentice. So many years she studied the Kano style laborious process of coloring, and that suited her personality. She's a little bit compulsive too. Anyhow, so that blossomed into this painting series. This is called Yellow Net, an Infinity Net series. It comes in different colors, and currently these large sizes are, let's say, like $20 million or sometimes more. And she's one of the highly valuable contemporary artists of our time. She's represented now by David Zwanner. You can look it up. David Zwanner is the gallerist in Chelsea. Previously, she was part of a Gagosian gallery, Zwanner. And this is her now on old age. So do you see another net painting in the background? This is white and gray. And she also had this dot painting, the circle. If you go one of her installation, there is a project called the Mirror Room. I want you to go in there if you ever see her show is open up in the city. I've been to Mirror Room in December, I think, 2019. It was beautiful. It's like a 1970s disco ball, like, spinning around. It was incredible. It's like an infinite experience that you can have in that Mirror Room. She also have a large environmental painting. So that's also her dot series. So this is another dot images. So I wanted to read more about Yayoi Kusama, but she's really well embedded into Japanese culture. So this Masumasa Yorimura, he's also alive, and he disguised himself into women or a man or a figure of a famous masterpiece painting. So it's all him. And then when he started in 1998, we didn't have much of a digital photography yet. Back then, he was working in his dark room and then, manipulate photographs. He dress himself into this photo and then take a picture of it, but then he also had to a little bit of a full post-production job in order to make it realistic. Like Yoko Ono. In my own face-to-face classes, we would watch documentaries on Yoko Ono, but you can look it up. And then On Kawara, very important painter, and he makes this date painting. It's called the Today series. Today, June 6, 1991, he woke up. Then he started to paint this canvas. It's not large. It's like your notebook size. And then if he was not interrupted by any other work, if he can finish the entire canvas, right, like a gray, and then the white letter, and this is oil on canvas, if he finishes it, then it will go into this box along with today's newspaper. So we have 365 days. And you may wonder, how many today painting could he complete? Less than 100. Not even close to 100. Like he may paint like a 60 or like a 50-ish. Meaning he started, but he's interrupted. Let's say he has to go to doctor's appointment, or somebody called him, or he went out for the dinner appointment. Then it's remained incomplete. Then they don't make it to the box. So in a way, he was recording his day-to-day activities or day-to-day living in numerous other ways. That is this one. It's called the I Got Up series. So he's doing this every single day. He's doing today painting every single day. And then I don't show you, but he also has his map project. So he always documents where he went on a blank map. He's doing that. And then he also went out to many meetings and other things, so that he ended up not completing this painting. This, he always does it. So Japanese people who suffered from the nuclear bombing, especially Onkawara, these people have a lot of worries on their own existence, right? Like your life can be wiped out like in an instant by the nuclear weapon. Or for us, like what are we experiencing right now? The pandemic, right? We also know that life is vulnerable. I mean, if you get, not you, let's say if somebody got tested positive, didn't go to the hospital early enough, right? Suffer high fever. And then when you went to the emergency room, if it's too late, then people may die out of the pandemic. Can you imagine, like in the 21st century, somebody dies due to illnesses? Like a cancer, right? Like these days, cancer is curable. People don't worry that you are going to die because of a cancer, right? But like a pandemic, so whoever knew that we would have a pandemic? So people become very philosophical. This is Takashi Murakami that you like very much. This is the DOB. People call it DOB or like a DOB. It's a hybrid creature, but this is also related to that post-nuclear experience. It became monster. Do you know what the atomic bombs did to the neighborhoods or the regions in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Obviously, people were exposed to the radioactive substances, right? And then people also bore deformed babies, right? Can you imagine deformed babies? And animal world as well, right? And then, so this is sort of that a byproduct of nuclear bombing. You end up having that cute looking Mickey Mouse, like a variety of, a version of a Mickey Mouse, but it's not that cute. It has that fangs. Look at the eyes. It's not even 2 eyes. I mean, how do you interpret it? Is it like a 3 eyes? Or the TOB is also shown on the leg. I mean, how can you explain this? But on the other hand, do you see the influence of Kano school of painting? Yes, right? Like that golden style, like a little gold foil, like a background you see all around. And then, do you remember this cloud, motif? And then who was standing over here? The wind god, and then the thunder god, right? Like those kind of motifs. So Takashi Murakami is an enormously intelligent artist. He has a PhD in Japanese art. So he studied tradition well, but he simply created this pop art relevant to Japanese contemporary events. This one, students always like this. The title is My Lonesome Cowboy, right? Because what is the characteristic of a cowboy in American movies? You need a horse, right? Like a Marlboro tobacco advertisement. You need a horse, right? They wear cowboy hat, and then what do they have? You need a lasso, right? But in this case, this lonely cowboy is not that American mature man that you would see in Marlboro. He looks more like that cyborg, the word cyborg creature, like artificial in a way. Good looking, but eyes are rather too big. And then he doesn't have that guns or whips or lasso. He is just very indulgent in his own enjoyment or his indulgence, or very private act, right? Like I always tell students that this is something that you don't want to show in public, but it's exposed. Contemporary art always have this anxiety between cute and scary, and private versus public. It's as if your crime is exposed, right? Those kind of things. So I want you to take a look, but see the influence of Kano school here, right? It's exactly the same process of Kano painting, but there is no Buddhist guardian figures. Instead, you see the robot popular motif. So Japanese contemporaries were very much influenced by pop art as well. The school uniforms. Japanese people still wear uniforms, but young girls in the uniforms are also overly sexualized. So where would you find these images? Again, in pornography magazines. So this is something, again, it's your private realm, right? But it is exposed into the public art forms. The same woman, Ryoko Suzuki, but she is shown in different settings. And this is a similar idea. Tomoko Sawada, this woman is the artist herself, and it's all her. So this is what school uniforms or schools are doing to them. They make individuals look alike, act alike, and maybe think alike. What we call it conformity. So Japanese culture has a lot of admirable points. Japanese society in general, because they focused so much on group, national identity, communal identity. Japanese people themselves do not express so much of their individuality. The same person. I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching my lecture on Unit 7 Contemporary Art. I hope you can read the textbook and then explore other links on the website.